Do I remember Wank Boy?
Wank Boy, yeah. My mate Ben, that everyone nicknamed Wank Boy, perhaps unfairly.
I don't think it was unfair. I think it was because he used to go to the toilet. He would wear his little shorts in winter, and he would masturbate while
He'd
you were
wear his shorts because of the studio lights, and he wouldn't.
the studio lights that he had in his shorts.
No, because he was a model animator, so under all the
He
models.
was witnessed. There's lots of model animators there. He was witnessed flogging his log, slapping his
by
granny.
one person.
Well, that's all you need, isn't it?
Allegedly,
This is
by one
Rob's
person.
friends when we were Raoul's friends at university.
You used to hang out with a group of guys that
he was
used to wank.
He was a
Yeah,
buddy.
to go to toilets and
He
he's
was a
have a
buddy
wank.
of mine from back home as well.
The Deadhand guy.
Anyway,
It's alive! Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown.
really happy that you've received a vacuum cleaner.
This is for my birthday, Ronnie. It's like a birthday present.
A vacuum cleaner for your birthday?
She's just like your housemate, isn't she, really?
How do you mean?
Well, didn't your housemate like doing all the women's chores and stuff like that? And, don't you get her to do all the cooking and cleaning?
Well, she's only been here a week, so I... No.
I thought you said she's a commie feminist.
Oh, yeah, well, the
A
thing
commie
is...
Nazi.
Yeah.
Well,
You commie Nazi.
thing is, I'm just sat down minding my own business.
And she just comes up to you and says, damn you in the patriarchy.
Well, pretty much, she starts going on at me about my male privilege.
You must have said something.
No, I said absolutely
You
nothing.
sparked this, haven't you?
I said absolutely nothing. I was just sat on my
How
backside programming.
often are you not the prime mover of every argument that you're involved in?
I honestly did not say anything or initiate anything. She got a bit annoyed with me because I was on the phone to my mate Gay Neil.
Oh, now it comes out.
Yeah.
No. I was on the phone to my mate Gay Neil, and I said to him, "Alright, Neil, are you still gay?" Because that's what we do.
Just you check, just in case.
Yeah, for a laugh, and he'll say something sarcastic back, and that's
Yes.
how it's always been. And she took offence to this, and it's like, well, Neil's not offended by it, so why should you be offended by it? And she got took umbrage about that, and then I was just sat on my own programming, and she walked in and started going on about male privilege. And then I was like...
Did it really happen that way
It did.
there,
It was
Raoul?
just completely unsolicited. And then I was filling some form in, and she was complaining that it didn't have cis male on the thing. It's like living with Florian's wife.
Florian's wife there's a lot of demand to have her back on the show from basically my dad.
From your dad?
Yeah.
Well,
I'd like her back. She was brilliant.
Well,
Dr.
she's
Bell
good.
was.
Yeah.
Woman's
A gender
point of view on
historian.
things.
Gender historian. She is the antidote to you, Raoul.
think
That's the problem.
You think that's a worthy job, don't you, Rob, a gender historian?
Yeah.
Well, as long as I have to pay for it. I mean, the thing
You
is...
don't have to pay for
I
it.
do with my taxes.
I don't think your taxis actually fund her. I'm pretty sure that they get grants and stuff.
Which come from my taxes.
No, the the stuff will come from businesses, I'm pretty sure, or people who want to fund her. A lot of it's private, isn't it? It's not.
Well, that's fine then. That's fine.
But you don't know. That's the problem.
The thing is...
You can't opt out of what your taxes are spent on.
Does you stay here
Well, you
now?
should have
I
some
don't.
mechanism to... You can
So
actually...
you can wander down to say Casualty on a Friday night and go, he's a dickhead, he doesn't deserve to be treated, I don't want to remove that plaster. That's
You know
that much of
what? If I had my
taxes."
way, I would do that. I would say you got completely drunk, you've pissed yourself, you've shat on the floor, you fought somebody and stabbed them. Fuck you. That's what I'd say.
And your dad would say, don't talk to your mother like that. Anyway, have you... well, we better get on with doing the show. So, welcome to Empire of Geek. And on the show this week, we're a reduced number of people, mainly because kids and crap like that. So this week we've got me, Steve, obviously hosting. We've got Andy.
Hello.
How are you, Andy?
I'm good, thanks.
You've had a good week?
Yes, thank you. How's yours been?
Why, thank you very much. It's been a good week. I finished my comic book. I'm just trying to wait for it to get it a few printed off so I can send them to publishers. So I'm quite chuffed about that. And I'm starting on my webcomic now, actually. I've spent days and days sketching out and writing the basic plot line to it. So it's going good.
Productive.
Yes. And Raoul you've had a busy week.
It's been a good week.
You've come in and you've said to us that you got lots of good news. First of all, you said that your art is going to get dealt with. You're going to have those grapes plucked.
Yeah, you would.
And they will bottle them and produce a fine vintage from them.
I feel sick.
And you also told us before we started recording that the reason you are prone to arse grapes is because you have tiny legs. Is that true?
No, it's I could touch my toes.
Oh yeah, that's so.
And Andy was like, "How can you touch your toes so easily?" It's because I've got short legs.
But how long are your legs? It's something like 20 centimetres, aren't they?
No, I've only got 31-inch legs.
It's-
My arms are longer than my legs, so it stands to reason if your arms are longer than your legs, you want to touch your toes.
That's everyone. Measure your.
That's some long arm.
I could get a tape measure out,
See?
and we could. Your leg is way longer than your arm.
No, it's not. Look, I can touch it with my.
There's loads of people who can. It doesn't. I can see from looking at your arm.
Without get a tape measure, we will measure this.
Oh.
My arms are longer than my legs. I'm not even bending my leg, and I'm able to touch my toe with my arm. So I'm not, my leg is dead straight, and I'm just sat here, and I'm flicking my toes. Because I've got my arms, are like a gorilla's arms, they're too long.
There we go. So that's interesting fact. So how have you been doing this week?
All right.
You've got big plans, haven't you? Because at the weekend, we're all supposed to be going out. Well, you two are.
Horn dogs.
At the least. I've had to put up with, since Catface, who's not been on the show for a little bit, has decided to start some kind of WhatsApp messenger thing that we all get. I've been receiving your inane fucking ramblings about pulling birds, and you copped off with The Little Mermaid, didn't you?
No.
When you said that, I thought, The Little Mermaid, does that mean she's ginger and she stinks of fish downstairs?
Dashing!
So, give me one moment to let the dog out. Little pain. So, what was that about? You were chatting up The Little Mermaid. Tell us more. You like the gingers, don't you?
Well, she wasn't a ginger.
Was she?
Well, The Little Mermaid's
She
ginger.
had a ginger wig on.
Oh, she had a wig on, yeah.
Is that what drew you in? What was your opener?
Do we have to put this on the podcast?
Yeah.
Well, I've had to put up with all week you bragging about
I
how you
wasn't bragging.
discovered the secret to pulling birds. So just have fun, dude. They come to you.
I've made no such claim. That was what Paul said. Paul was like, you go out, you have fun.
Andy, can you go on to WhatsApp and if you can find any choice statements and read them out, which would back up that Raoul believes that he has game in his own words.
Why get off my phone?
So
There's nothing wrong with being...
Why are you all worried about that now? You talk about it quite openly on WhatsApp. But
we have to put up with it. But now that we're on the show, you're afraid.
Now all of a sudden you've got all... Oh.
the good news is that thing I wrote for that company has gone really well,
I don't know what you're talking about.
and they're going to hire it out at £6,000 a week.
Have you called the Little Mermaid back?
Yeah, I don't really know what
No.
you're talking about. Sorry, Raoul. And this is a conversation that you won't even want to have on the show, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up now. We'll talk about that after the show if you want. So, have you got some choice comments for us?
If you want some.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these are choice comments from Raoul, who says that he doesn't claim that he is dynamite with the ladies. Come on, read them out for us. And you've got to do your best Raoul impression when you do it.
I can't do Raoul.
Just say dude after everything.
No cock blocking, dude. I got
No
the
cock-
Little Mermaid's number at Hack Day, dude. Went out in Leeds during the night, dude. It was fun, dude. Hang on, just taking some... Bear with me, what else to say? The point is, despite the piles on anal fishes, I got game.
Despite the piles and anal fissures, I got game. There we go, ladies and gents. That tells us everything we need to know. So, we've also got Lisa here with us, who's got the noisiest laptop in the world, haven't you?
You have to buy a new one.
It's so loud.
I mean,
No. Anyway,
deal with it.
the first thing we want to talk about then is we've been going to the cinema over the last few weeks,
What? You've got
and
game?
me and Raoul went to the cinema and we went to watch Ant-Man. We didn't get to see it, so we ended up watching the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And we pre-recorded that, so we're going to play that to you now. I'm with my main man Raoul, heading into town to do something a bit different. So thanks for closing the window up. Yeah, the sound was a bit pants before. It was because Raoul had to set the window down. I don't normally go out very often because I don't know if any of you kids who listen to this, if you own your own houses, Jesus Christ. We nearly died then, everybody.
Yeah, that was an idiot, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can slow down a little bit,
We're going to be late.
We're already late. Anyway, I don't normally go out, and because once you get your own house, you don't need to go out because you fill it full of all the stuff you like. But my girlfriend's decided that I need to start going out and socialising a bit more, so she arranged a play date with...
She wants you out of the house.
A play date with Raoul. So this is our hetero date night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, we were going to go and see Ant-Man, which starts at 8:20. It's now 8:32.
We'll be fine. There'll be trailers.
Which we'll be finishing, and we're going to probably crash and die anyway.
No, we won't. It's City Rover. They'll bounce off.
Yeah, we'll bounce off it. So if we manage to make it to the cinema, I forgot just how scary it is sitting in the car with you. We're probably going to end up seeing Fantastic Four, which, as we mentioned on the podcast before, is a shit film. But, you know, just because all the reviewers and all the critics say it's shit, it might not be.
It might be very good.
So if we can't see Ant-Man, or if we're going to miss the first bit of it, which we will do,
we might not.
Then we'll watch Fantastic Four, and we're going to give a straight from the horse's mouths review if we've not been killed in a horrific car pile-up, because
there's plenty. I'm leaving 2 lampposts. What more do you need?
You're not leaving. What I'm counting as we're doing it.
2 lampposts.
Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. That's what they say.
Exactly.
Well, let me see. 1 second. Oh, and look at you slowing it down. Now we are driving. This is driving well at the moment. So, in a few moments we'll be back on. The film will be over. If we come back on again, we'll have survived your driving, which...
Look, I've been driving for years. Like, I think 17 years now.
And?
I've never died.
Oh yeah, but you've ran into other cars before, haven't you?
Oh yeah, but only like a couple of times.
I don't want to be involved in shit like that. That's all I'm saying.
17 years...
You nearly drove into a lock in Scotland when we were in the car with you because you fucking fall asleep all the time. And then you drove into a building until we woke you up. You don't have a good record as far as driving goes. But anyway, tune in to find out what film we see, if it was any good, and if we survive this fucking hell drive that I'm currently on. See you soon, listeners.
Do you want to walk?
We've just come back from watching the film, so this is going to be our review for Ant-Man. First of all, I'd say if you're going to go and see Ant-Man, don't let Raoul pick you up, because we didn't actually get to see Ant-Man, did we?
No.
They wouldn't let us in, so we had to go and see the Fantastic Four instead.
Which was a bit shit.
Yes, but we were expecting it to be shit, but I would say it's not as shit as everyone's made out. The problem it's got is there's been lots of superhero films out recently which have got origin stories in, and it's another origin story in it.
But a shit origin story as well. It was just really long-winded.
It was, and then all of a sudden at the end there's a big fight.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, seemingly.
Yeah, it's just like completely random. You'd think that he'd be all like happy about, the fact he's been rediscovered, but no, he's gone all, it's like it's on his period or something.
Yeah, and Doctor Doom looks a bit shit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And what I don't understand as well, without wanting to spoil it, they go to this other dimension, Doctor Doom gets stuck there, they come back and they gain powers from being in that dimension. And then eventually another team's sent back and Doctor Doom's there and he comes back into our reality and he seems has the ability to kill you just with his thoughts.
Yeah, squish your brain and stuff.
And then he goes back and he fights the Fantastic Four in his own reality, and instead of actually just killing them outright, he decides to fight them in kind of a long-winded, ridiculous... It doesn't make sense.
It's like worse than in a James Bond film where, you're going to die, Mr. Bond, because it's elaborate nonsense involving sharks and piranhas. Why could you just shoot me in the head?
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's there's a lot of problems with it, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not as well crafted as a Marvel film.
Who did this one?
This was done by Fox, I think.
Oh well.
who are also doing Deadpool, which looks like it's going to be good. But it wasn't terrible. I enjoyed some of the performances, and as the lady when we bought our ticket said, well, actually, the beginning of the film's okay, and the beginning is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. At the beginning, you think you're actually thinking this is going to go somewhere nice.
You see them as kids at the beginning,
Yeah.
Reed and also I've forgotten his flipping name now, Ben Grimm, who becomes the Thing, and that bit's quite nice. Seeing him going to science competitions, and then you see him a little bit older, kind of as a student, and that bit was quite enjoyable as well.
Yeah.
And then it just went on a long time. I'm just used to Marvel. Also, this is what I'll say: Marvel films are generally, you have the action and the adventure and the moments of, are they going to survive? But there's a lot of gags in there, and this takes itself very seriously, doesn't it?
Yeah, very straight-laced. Do you think that Marvel are losing their edge?
Well, again, this Marvel have stopped making Fantastic Four comics because they want the rights to it back.
Right.
So Marvel are attached to it because the way Marvel work is, they sell the rights. They sold the rights to comic books, but said if you don't make a film within a certain number of years, you've got to give it back.
Which
is
so
why
this was just rushed out so they can keep the rights.
I don't think they necessarily rushed it out. I think it was they did the other two, and the old Roger Corman one. They only did that one, which is the original Fantastic Four film, which never got properly released. They did that to keep the license. Roger Corman, I don't think, realised that they were just doing it to keep the license in a cynical ploy. And then they decided to, after the success of the Marvel films, to do a reboot of the Fantastic Four with the hopes of creating a big franchise like Marvel have done.
Right.
They've already announced that they were going to make a sequel Fantastic Four film before this one even came out, and bombed terribly. So they must be shitting themselves how badly it's done.
How much did it cost them?
I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I know for a fact that Mission Impossible has beaten it. And Mission Impossible was expected to do shit, but it's done actually really well, considering that Tom Cruise is a nutbag.
Yeah, and Simon Pegg's in it as well, isn't he?
Simon Pegg plays a very big role in it, apparently.
You see, that kind of put me off it in a way, because Simon Pegg is just a bit of a, he's all right in your Shaun of the Dead type films, but
you can never get enough Pegg.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I genuinely, ever since Spaced and stuff like that, I've always been a big
that kind of
Pegg
thing
fan.
is good in, but I don't know. I think you can have too much Pegg.
I don't know. I've not seen Mission Impossible, but I have read about the fact that people were surprised by how well it did, and the fact it gave Fantastic Four a good drumming.
Fair play.
So, the other thing I'd say is it doesn't. What it needed to be, as I was saying this to you as we were leaving the cinema, but you were too busy looking at that girl's tight black pants, you big pervo.
Which one?
Oh, which one?
There were two.
There were two of them that I was looking at, dude.
They were leather.
You dirty, dirty man.
I'm a free man now. I can look.
What I thought we didn't talk about your troubled relationship status.
It's a bit. Yeah.
Okay then.
I'm just saying. It's all right to look.
Okay then, it's all
Just
right.
don't touch. Unless they say it's okay.
Yes.
And they're over 16.
Over 60?
60.
Oh, 16, sorry, I was
Well,
going to say.
that's a bit actually.
Yeah,
Then
you're
they're
a
over
bit-
like 25.
I was going to say, you're in your mid-30s, aren't you?
Yeah. 25 is probably the lowest I'd go.
Oh, because I'm taping you.
No, because
You are a deviant.
Because I have to live with myself.
Yes. What I was going to say is, I talked about that it needed to be more Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
I wanted to see the dysfunctional family with the gags, and it took itself too seriously.
Yeah.
I wasn't keen on that.
Well, like even the relationship with the with what's his name, Johnny Flame.
Johnny Flamer,
Johnny
the Camp
Flamer.
Super, Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, yeah, and his father. That was just, you could tell that they were, it was acrimonious, but it didn't really explore it. It was just like whatever.
I've got to say, I like Johnny Storm, and there's a lot of, before it came out, everyone was going, oh, he's black.
No, I did. I mean,
Michael B. Jordan, who played him, did a nice job.
I thought he played the character well, but there wasn't enough.
He had nothing to work with.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't any. There wasn't the real dynamic. It wasn't the fact that, because he was clearly pissed off with his dad about something. He was clearly a directionless youth, but didn't go into give you any indication as to why, or why it would have happened, because his dad seemed a decent bloke.
Yeah.
So there was no reason for him to have had such a chip on his shoulder.
And when at the end he made some kind of gag at Ben Grimm's expense, but there was no. You'd never seen them even hardly together in the film at all.
That's right. It's just that came out of nowhere.
I've also discovered that you can't remember how to get back to where I live, can you?
Oh,
you just took a run, but we can get through this way.
Yeah, I was
Keep
going,
following the road.
going to your old house.
I want to know maybe if these little pre-recorded features are going to fly well on the podcast.
How do you mean?
Well, normally we do everything all together as a group, but I was thinking if we can have occasionally little pre-recorded bits like this, it makes it quite fun. You need to go right here.
Right here, hair was present.
Because otherwise we'll just go in a big circle. So yeah, I think it lacked heart, and I think the actors did an okay job with it. I just don't think the script they had particularly served them well. So what mark would you give it if you're going to give it an out of 10?
Probably about a 5 or a 6. It wasn't horrendous. It was something you'd probably have in the background when you're doing a bit of programming.
Yes, when I'm programming, left turn here.
Doing a bit of painting or something.
Yeah, it wasn't awful. I think I'm gonna go for 4.5 out of 10. It ain't an awful film. I don't think I'd rush to ever watch it again. I won't buy it on DVD.
Same here.
But yeah, it's not as bad as everyone's made out, but it ain't great. And next to things like the Avengers and Iron Man, it kind of sucks balls because it's not funny. It needs some stuff in it, and they should be done. I'd love to see Marvel get their hands on the Fantastic Four. It's a right turn here.
You reckon they do a better job?
Oh yeah. They make the team. But you'd care about the team. I don't really care about that team particularly.
They could have all died.
Well, yeah, that's always a danger in any film when you've got villains trying to take you out.
Well, that's what I mean. They could have all died and no one would give them a shit.
Well, yeah, that's the point. I think you were monkeys. It might be nice to wait till the actual turning.
Yeah, I saw
driving
that
through
number,
someone's house.
This
is it here.
Here it is, yeah. I saw that number plate. I thought it was a road here. Yeah, anyway, never mind.
The most dangerous film review ever.
There's no one else on the road. I can't.
Thank God for, you know why I'm not on the road? Because they know you're here. And the fact that you just then went to kind of defend yourself, you let go of the steering wheel and you had to grab hold of it to stop us driving off the frigging road.
I'm doing 18 miles an hour. You can't kill someone at 18 miles an hour.
You can't. It'll be such a slow, painful death, though. Imagine that slowly being run over by you. Sorry, dude. But anyway.
I'd probably stop.
On them.
Yeah, on them.
I'll just reverse off you, dude. Right turn here. Anyway, so yeah, that was our review of the Fantastic Four. Not as bad as the film reviews made out, but I won't be rushing out to watch it. And I'm a bit pissed off we didn't see Ant-Man. So that's your fault, isn't it?
We'll see that when?
Well, I'll find a time to see it, and I'm going to tell you that it's on an hour before, because you can't be trusted to turn up on the time.
That's fine. When your good lady lets you out again.
Well, I'll see if I can seek permission from her. Right, thanks for that then. Well, and I hope you all enjoyed this review. So thanks for that then, Raoul.
That's right, buddy.
See you later, and you owe me £2, you cheap bastard. And that was our recording of us trying to watch Ant-Man. But after that, we actually did go and watch Ant-Man, and I did pre-record our visit to see Ant-Man, and Andy, you came with us, which was weird.
I did.
And unfortunately, I've lost that recording of when we went to see Ant-Man. So it gives us a chance on the show now to talk about that. Now, got to remember the context that watching Ant-Man was in. I had just pulled the greatest kind of trick ever on Raoul, and he was going off his nut, wasn't he? When
Oh, yeah.
You're all tossers.
Who could forget that night?
So we'll talk about Ant-Man first, then we'll remind ourselves about the greatest gag in the world.
I've forgotten about it.
What the hell was that? Was that your...
That's my phone.
Phone's off during the recording. So we went to go and see Ant-Man. What did we think of Ant-Man? Andy, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Thanks. No. You got more to say.
No, I can't. Well, like I say, I gave you a fresh review when I was just, straight out the cinema. Now it's gone a little hazy. But no, like I say, I wasn't really expecting a lot. I don't know much about Ant-Man. He's not like mainstream superhero, so I thought it might be a bit lame. But I thought the story was good. I thought it had a lot of jokes in it as well, which kept it pretty fresh. And yeah. Right,
let's go with you, Raoul. What did you make of Ant-Man?
I was really surprised by how much I liked it. I thought it was probably one of the better Marvel films of late. I was expecting it to be, all kind of folky, bullshit. You know, like folksy kind of hair, you know, all that nonsense.
Yeah, I'm with you exactly on that one. Because on quite a few of the shows, I talked about the fact that it was going to be the film that ruined the Marvel franchise, didn't I?
Yeah, but it didn't.
And it was really good. And in fact, I enjoyed it more than probably Age of Ultron.
I said that on the original recording.
You did, and I agreed with you on the original recording as well. Which is, it's weird that is because there's nothing particularly wrong with Age of Ultron, really. It had lots of stuff in it, other than the fact that I felt that it was one set piece to another one, and the linking was shit. But I thought I was going to love it because I loved the first Avengers film, and then when I watched it, I didn't hate it, but I walked away and I just felt flat.
Yeah, agreed.
It was like, yeah, it had everything that you want in it, but I don't know, not enough heart.
Whereas Ant-Man had ample heart. It was a relationship between him and his daughter, and the relationship between I've forgotten the name of the original scientist that developed
Hank Pym.
Pym
Douglas.
and his daughter and so forth. And and the dynamics between the characters were good as well. It wasn't all about the superpowers.
Well, after I'd finished watching, I was thinking it's the Little Big movie. That's what I like to think of. Because it's in its scope, even though he fights one of the Avengers in it, it's quite small in comparison to the other films, although in the after credit scenes they kind of spin it out.
Yes.
But it still felt big. And it was well done.
Yeah, it was brilliantly directed, brilliantly acted.
Because I knew that there was going to be a big fight scene in like a kid's bedroom, and I thought that will look shit. But actually, it was really good.
They pulled it out. I like the way they cut away as well. So you know, you're watching the fight scene. It's all big and dramatic because everything is scaled up and massive around them, and yet from our perspective, it
when Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
I also quite liked the bits where they would do exposition about someone got some information by showing a guy was telling you who said what to who,
Yes.
and then they showed the people talking about with his voice on it, and that was really funnily done. And they stuck Stan Lee in one of those as well.
Yeah.
So compared to Fantastic Four,
A lot better.
yeah, Fantastic Four, as we said in the little recorded pre-bit.
It was almost like they. I mean, I know they were made by two different companies, but it was almost as if they were two different universes. They completely different.
When are Fox going to give Marvel the Fantastic Four back? They need to.
Well, yeah, they need to, but they won't. They'll just keep making crap movies to maintain the franchise. So unless unless Disney are able to extricate it,
They could do a deal like Spider-Man did. Sony did Spider-Man, so they can use him in the films. Could maybe do that. Be interesting to see. Right, so that was Ant-Man, and we give that a big thumbs up, don't we?
Yes.
How many stars out of 5 would you give it?
5.
Andy?
Give it 4.
I think it 4.5, just because it's hard to reach perfection. But it felt good. It felt really good. I enjoyed Ant-Man. And it was an origin, but without being bogged down in the long, slow build into it. It was enjoyable.
Plus, as well, it was an origin story that few people have ever heard before.
Yeah, Ant-Man, not particularly in Britain, we don't really know of him. I don't know if he's bigger in America, but I don't think so. He's quite a small name. No ant puns aside there. Right, the next thing we'll talk about is me and my lady Lisa watched this. I think it was this week, or it might have been that last week. The first episode of Fear the Walking Dead was released. Now, Fear the Walking Dead is from Robert Kirkman and the team who brought you The Walking Dead. And it's set before The Walking Dead kind of begins. It's a prequel spin-off which shows the breakdown of society as these kind of zombies start marauding around and start appearing. And we had a look at it. Now, this is different from The Walking Dead in that there's no comic book series to base it from.
Right.
So this is all kind of new territory.
In other words, they're milking the cash cow.
You could say that, but I think that The Walking Dead, and particularly this is an area they've not touched upon in it. And we watched the first episode of it, and I don't know if Lisa's going to allow me to have her on the podcast. Lisa, did you enjoy The Walking Dead? Fear the Walking Dead?
Yeah.
It's good Andy response there.
No, it's good. It's something I could probably get into.
They're going to do six episodes in the first season. They've already said they're going to do a second season, which will air in 2016, which will be 15 episodes. Now, the first thing is you watch it, and because I've been watching The Walking Dead since the beginning, there's the characters that I'm really familiar with. And it sounds weird, but it's almost like you've got a loyalty to those characters. So when you watch the new one of the things which is missing, and this is nothing to do with the show, this is just the fact that I wanted to see Daryl walk in the background, even just to see him for a glimpse, which they might do later on.
Is it kind of like, I mean, Better Call Saul? Have you seen Better Call Saul?
No.
Well, Better Call Saul, if you watch it without seeing Breaking Bad, you don't have quite the same affinity from having spoken with people, with the character. Whereas for those who have seen Breaking Bad, they have a much greater affinity with him because they kind of know what he becomes, and now they've seen what he is now, and it gives more to it. Would you say that's true of this? Because I mean, I haven't seen enough of Walking Dead to.
I would say no, because they don't have any of the same characters in at the moment.
Right.
Also, you could watch this and not have seen The Walking Dead and probably appreciate it. What it does really well is it's the kind of the scares, not the actual zombies jumping out, but because we know that the zombie apocalypse is coming and the characters don't do that. Look at you eyeing up what Lisa's looking at. I'm watching. You're so sneaky, Raoul. Your little eyes keep darting to the side. Don't look at anything rude, Lisa. Raoul is watching you.
No, I'm not.
You're watching the screen. I'm watching you doing that.
His face will tell you if there's anything rude.
I'm not
Yeah,
watching
he's like,
any screens.
"Oh,
Scratching
no."
it.
You're so shifty. You've got the eyes of a rapist. So,
What? I'm scratching my face.
yes, in a rapey way.
It's the same face you have when you're out in town.
Yeah. But ladies, Milan's over there. So, what I'd say about this is the build-up, the expectation that someone's going to turn into a zombie is really good. There's a few bits in it where you think any minute now a zombie's going to jump out, and they don't. The use of the music's really good in it. It builds the tension. It's genuinely pretty scary in quite a few parts of it. The storyline at the moment focuses around this kind of family which is a bit dysfunctional. They've got, I don't know if they're twin brothers or something, but one of them's a junkie, and he wakes up in this kind of old church where they've all been dossing over, this abandoned church, and he goes to find his girlfriend or this girl, and he does find her and she's eating someone's face, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on, so he runs out of the church, gets run over and ends up in hospital.
So he could have shot her then and then, killed him.
He had no gun. I don't think she was. They do mention some of them. There's a kid who tries to. His mum works as a principal in a school, and there's a scene in it where she stops this lad walking in with a knife to the school, and he says that he's got it because he says I've been looking on the internet and there's all these outbreaks. So they don't know if it's disease or what. So there already is some outbreaks on the people are talking on the internet of people of walkers, but they've not said what it is yet. And there's a bit in it where they see this footage that someone's leaked of the police. Basically, this guy gets run over. They're trying to help him, and he bites one of them, and then they end up shooting him shitloads of times until eventually someone shoots him in the head and kills him.
Right.
So it's quite nice. I think the fact you know that it's a zombie outbreak and they don't adds something to it. It gives you the pleasure of knowing something the characters don't.
Mm.
And that's quite a nice feeling. It gives you almost like godlike power over that, I know what's coming, but you fools don't. And it adds tension to it. There's a bit at the end where this guy is turned into a zombie, and the guy who's a junkie, his mum and dad have turned up to get him, and they see this kind of zombie shambling towards them, and they don't know anything about the zombie outbreak yet. It's not been an outbreak yet. And the junkie son does know. He's like, get away from him, and you think he's going to bite one of them, and the last minute they knock him out of the way and stuff. It's good. I enjoy it. I think you could watch it without seeing The Walking Dead. It's one of these shows that by the end of the 6 episodes I'm going to be thinking, I can't wait till the next one. It's good. I think the whole premise works well. I can't wait to see the army move in and what happens. What leads up to the situation that's in The Walking Dead. I wonder how many actual seasons they can do of it though.
The thing is, you sort of know what's going to happen. Everybody dies at the end.
Well, at some point they'll break away, but at that point, do they have to stop this because then it just becomes The Walking Dead with a different group?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is going to be a short-run TV series or what. So maybe it's going to run in almost like real time, so they can spin out the weeks or whatever leading up to, when Rick wakes up over season, loads of seasons.
Will it end with him waking up?
It could do. Maybe one of the characters who they meet in it ends up as that little girl that he shoots at the beginning of the first episode. I don't know. I'm sure it'll link in some clever way. They did say they're going to have some characters between the two moving across, so you might meet a character who's in Fear the Walking Dead, in The Walking Dead, but it'll be, months and months and months later. So that'd be quite interesting.
Oh, right, so on the timeline there's only like months in this, is there, apart, or year apart, it's not like decades or anything.
It's not decades, but it's I don't know how long after Rick woke up it is now.
Right.
I imagine it's quite a long time, it's at least a year, surely, or more.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. Because you could see a character in that, and then if they just pop in on The Walking Dead, and they're all kind of messed up with an eye patch and scars, and a robotic arm, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Why robotic arm?
I don't know, that'd be shit if they did that. They'll never explain it. Yeah, I think it looks like it's quite cool. Now the other bit of news is Blackadder might be coming back. Tony Robinson did an interview with The Sun. For a long time now, they've always said that, if you're an American listener, you don't know Blackadder, describe it, Raoul.
Do we have any American listeners?
We may well do.
Are we international?
Yes, we are.
Wow. So, Blackadder is a comedy series that revolves around a character called Blackadder, and it's set throughout different periods of history. So you might have, Blackadder in the Elizabethan era, Blackadder in the Georgian era, and so on and so forth. And he's normally a pretty scoundrelly, scandalous, scummy, nasty, horrible piece of shit. And he's got a butler or sidekick called Baldrick, who is stupid. And they basically... Oh, and Hugh Laurie was in it as well. He would always play a character in whichever time period.
He's a bit thick, isn't he? But nice, kind of.
Yeah, he'd always play a character who's quite thick and nice. And, it was absolutely hilarious. And Blackadder would always, his plot would always be foiled. It was always how he could kind of gain favour or wealth or power. And somewhere, in his plots, in his scheming plans, he'd always get failed. So the joke was always on him. And it was just brilliant writing. It was written by, was it Richard Curtis?
And Ben Elton, yeah.
And Ben Elton, yeah. Richard Curtis and Ben Elton. And it was just really, really good writing. And I think Richard Curtis went on to do like 4 Weddings and a Funeral and
Love Actually and
stuff like that.
It's a big writer. And Ben Elton has wrote a lot of books and stuff.
Yeah.
It does quite well. He
So,
moved to Australia a while back, Ben Elton did a show.
Sorry?
Ben Elton moved to Australia a little while back and did a show over there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bombed spectacularly. Because he didn't know anything about their kind of cultural life.
Well, their culture is basically racism and womanising and drinking and being crap at cricket.
So that's us having no... I love that. We'll there go. The Australians are shit at cricket. Let's forget all about the 80s where we got absolutely hammered
for decades.
Yeah. So now, for a long time, Ben Elton and Richard Curtis have kind of shied away from doing a new one. But there's been talk for a while now saying they're going to do a 1980s set one, and now Tony Robinson says that he thinks it's likely it's going to happen. What do you reckon? Because the main character was played by Rowan Atkinson, who plays Blackadder, Edmund Blackadder.
There's probably an element of, for some of the actors, not necessarily all of them, because Hugh Laurie doesn't need the money, but there's probably an element of financial, incentive there.
Well, they're all doing pretty well, though.
What's Tony Robinson doing then?
He does Time Team. But he does a lot of other stuff, like because he's got into the whole history lark. I bet he's written some books. He also... Now, Tony Robinson's quite a good writer. Do you remember Maid Marian and her Merry Men?
Oh, that was classic. Brilliant, yeah.
Marian, why don't you...
Well, that was kind of like... it was kind of in the same vein as Blackadder.
Blackadder for kids. He wrote that, yeah.
Kids. Yeah. It was good. It was good.
I enjoyed that. It was.
So I mean, it'd be good to see them do it, albeit even if it's a swan song, because if they're suggesting a 1980s period, that could be quite funny. That could be quite satirical, in light of the whole banking and power and all that, which would the same situation is occurring now, because we had a crash, didn't we, in the 80s? It was massive.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Was that when?
What you about?
We had Black Wednesday, but there was one.
That's the
another,
90s one.
there was
That's
another
like
one.
93, wasn't it?
Yeah, Black Wednesday. Yeah, you're right. So it was.
Yeah,
Some of
no,
the monk
the
was
poll
transferred.
tax and all that. Yeah.
But
I'm just
there was-
thinking you could have it set during.
Wall Street.
Well, if it's set in Britain, and I assume it would be, I can't see them setting it abroad.
It wouldn't work.
They could set it in maybe Margaret Thatcher's government.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit too New Statesman-y, which was a show with Rick Mayall, who was in Blackadder as Flashheart.
Yeah. Who was this? He was
Wolf.
arrogant, cocky, womanising arse, but he was cool.
It's who you aspire to be, don't you? Role.
But it was kind of like if you're a fan of of Red Dwarf, it was almost like an Ace Rimmer type character. Was arrogant, was flash, but everybody thought, what a man,
Apart from Blackadder, we thought he was a bit of a dick.
Yeah. But Blackadder thought he was a dick because Blackadder wanted to be him.
It's a really good episode. Blackadder Goes Forth was the last one, which was set during the First World War.
That was poignant at the end as well.
Yeah,
when
and
they all
it
climbed
was
up on
very
the top.
cleverly done.
Very cleverly done. Yeah.
Every
quite
history
sad, wasn't
teacher that I ever met uses one of those episodes they teach to do about the war.
I
Yeah.
saw that in school, yeah.
Yeah, I think every history teacher uses that bit where they go running across the battlefield and the footage slows down, and then the poppies appear, and it's like, oh, and then the Blackadder music slowly plays.
Yeah.
It was a good show. It was a really good show. So, do you want it back then, Raoul?
I would love to see it back, but there is a danger of them, pulling like the last Indiana Jones movie. Do you know what I mean? Where they spoil everything by writing something so shit.
Yeah.
So that is my concern. But I don't think they will do a bad job because of the people that are behind it.
It's a shame there'd be no Rick Mayall. The lady who played Nursey in the Elizabethan one, she's dead as well.
Yeah.
And then who was the lady who played the Queen? I'm trying to remember her name.
Miranda
Richardson, yeah.
She's still alive.
Yeah, she's still alive. She was very good as the Queen,
She
wasn't
was.
she?
She was this petulant, obnoxious. Yeah, she was brilliant.
And Stephen Fry played Melcher, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Well, Stephen Fry would be up for it, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Stephen Melcher in some of the early ones was like a kind of weaselly kind of courtier, but in Goes Forth he was brilliant, wasn't he?
That's right.
Did he play the general in the...
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
They shot
See all
his
the
favourite
Berlin
pigeons.
And the thing I like about it is that the characters were all. I mean, yes, there was some variation in terms of their names, but they were all from almost the same family lineage or same line, weren't they? So Blackadder was would play like the grandson of the previous Blackadder or whatever in each.
Did you ever see the Christmas special?
Which one?
It's based around Scrooge.
Oh yes, yeah, that was fantastic.
Where he's a good guy at the beginning, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then all of his kind of relatives are just arseholes, and then right at the end of it, he goes bad,
Yeah.
doesn't he? It's really well done. So Blackadder could be good, but risks ruining everything if it sucks.
Well, yeah, it kind of destroys the canon, doesn't it? If it's.
Are they going to have the same energy? That's what I want to know, because there was a real kind of anarchic energy to it.
They probably won't have the same energy, like the fact that they're all getting on a bit. But I'm sure they'd find a way of introducing that energy or getting that energy. Or
One thing I always thought was, and my mum remembers saying this to me about, she said, because Rowan Atkinson, who plays Blackadder, also plays Mr. Bean, who is probably more well known than Blackadder, but shit compared to it.
Yeah.
And my mum always used to say, why doesn't Rowan Atkinson keep a beard? You know, when he, in one series of Blackadder, he had the beard and all that.
Yeah.
And he looked reasonably kind of tough and manly. Without the beard, he looks like an absolute wimp, doesn't he?
Well, the thing is, that's why he doesn't have the beard for Mr. Bean, because Mr. Bean is.
Well, yeah, you can't
But I mean, in
sort of,
normal
you know.
life, though, why doesn't he? Why does he not have a beard? I would dress up like Blackadder in the Elizabethan one. That's when he looks his best.
Well, I'm sure he'll take your concerns about his appearance on board. And
He does listen to the podcast, so
Yeah.
he probably will. Did you ever see the first? No, I don't want to go on too long about Blackadder. Did you ever see the very first season of Blackadder?
Which one was that?
It was the one where Brian Blessed was in it,
Oh right, yeah.
and it was kind of medieval times.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
And Brian Blessed was again this Brian Blessed was just being Brian Blessed, wasn't he?
Bah. It was not as good, I don't think, as some of the later ones. It was okay, but it wasn't as good.
Yeah, but it was the first. They were finding their feet. They were warming up. They were getting into it, weren't they? So.
Right, the next thing we'll talk about is, did you ever read 2000 AD?
I haven't read
child.
2000 AD for donkey's years. We're talking probably 20 years.
See, have you ever read 2000 AD?
No.
No, you haven't. I read one a few, probably last year. I bought a copy of it, but I've not read it for a while. But when I was into it, and I normally buy the collected edition to Judge Dredd, did you ever read any of the stories with Judge Death in and the Dark Judges? There was a whole run of these stories with them in.
I know the character. I can't remember the specific details. Oh, God.
Basically,
What?
the
Oh!
just to let you know, listeners, that
What have you got?
Lisa's got. What can you show me? What's on your computer screen? Oh, she's got Goatsy, which if you.
I thought he was sneaking a look all the
I
time.
wasn't looking at your laptop. You just
Oh,
put it in
my
my
word.
face.
So if you don't know what Goatsy is, listeners, it's basically
Rob,
a
give
very.
me a bit of space, will you? I'm like crushed in this corner.
I'm
It's,
trying to avoid.
He's resting his pals on him.
It's Goatsy is a man attempting to turn himself inside out.
Oh.
It's an internet nasty.
Took
Thanks
ages
for-
to find that.
Thanks for sharing that, Lisa, with everyone. Anyway, back to the point. One of the best ever stories was a story called Judgment on Gotham, and there's also Judge Death. Now, Judge Death was, you know who Judge Dredd is, don't you?
Well, Lisa.
He's this lawman in Mega City 1, which is like a future dystopian version of America, where there's been a nuclear war and everyone lives in these big mega cities, in big blocks. And Judge Dredd is this lawman. In one of the stories, this entity called Judge Death, who was like a parallel universe version of Judge Dredd and Mega City 1, they came to the conclusion that the only way to stop crime was to kill everyone. And so basically, they murdered everyone on their planet,
Makes sense.
and they themselves were kind of dead, but they lived forever. And in the stories, Judge Death came to our dimension with the intention of trying to kill everyone here as well. And there was a whole range of stories featuring him. He was eventually kind of captured by Side Division, by this character called Cassandra Anderson,
Yes.
who was based on Pamela Anderson, the look of her. Brian Boland's probably the most famous for drawing her. And she was this psychic woman who captured him within her brain, and then she was encased in this stuff which was called, I think it was Boeing, this kind of breathable plastic which they can encase her in. The story went on, and eventually they let her out and Judge Death escaped and she went after him. Well, this thing is called Dreams of Deadwood, and it's going to be this 4-part series which is set in Deadwood, and it's going to give you an insight, this is going to be in 2000 AD, into the backstory of the Dark Judges. So this is going to show them on their home planet. As well as Judge Death, there was 4 other judges as well, Judge Fire, Judge Mortis.
How they became.
Well, I think they've already become that, but it shows them going on some kind of stories within their dead world. What happened after they killed everyone? I think the spirits of the murdered people kind of hung around. So each episode is going to focus on a particular Dark Judge, one at a time, as they stalk the remains of their once teeming world. And you're going to learn about the origins, and they're going to begin with Judge Fire as he travels beneath the waves to discover treachery by members of their terrifying department of twisted justice. I absolutely love Judge Death. They did another story where Judgment on Gotham, where basically you had Batman, Judge Dredd and Judge Death all joining up in a story. And Judgment on Gotham for me was one of the first graphic novels I wanted to own. It was wicked. So this is going to be coming out in 2000 AD, Prog 1946, and it'll be in all good newsagents on the 2nd of September. I'm going to wait until they do the collected edition of it. Now, I've got some examples of the artwork that's going to be in it.
Wow.
It's all painted,
Wow.
and it looks wicked, doesn't it?
Heavy.
All fully painted up.
Who's behind this?
The guy who does the artwork is a bloke called Kendall. His name is. And it looks absolutely wicked, doesn't it? So they look like oil paintings, and like on the one on the right, that's Judge Fire going down into the oceans, and you can see the big skull in the moon. So it's a 4-part kind of mini series about them. It's going to look absolutely beautiful. I keep meaning to buy 2000 AD again because I used to always buy it, but when I bought it recently, there are far more, to me, different art styles in it.
Right.
In fact, you'll have a painted style like this, and you might have more of a kind of, black line work with bright colours and stuff. There's some absolutely cracking stuff. 2000 AD is still the flagship British comic book as far as I'm concerned. So that looks good, doesn't it?
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good. Well done.
So I might send out Lisa to get that for me.
What?
Put that on your job list, please, Lisa.
What is it?
Chop shop.
It's 2000 AD. I need you to buy me the next 4 issues of it.
Which one?
The newsagents. Only good newsagents, not bad newsagents.
Is
Like
it
Allworths.
Like, well, is Ballwood's still open?
No.
No, it's shut down
It's
now.
online though, isn't it?
Or is it?
Yeah.
No.
What is it? A book? Well,
It's at 2000 AD. It's a comic book. I'll show you some later. I've got a load of back issues of 2000 AD. I love 2000 AD. Right, ladies and gents, there was a bit of a cock-up. Unfortunately, we did the rest of the show, but my recording device didn't record it all. So what you've just heard is the whole of the last show that we've actually got, and we've lost the rest. So rather than waste a perfectly good show, I've decided to team up with my other half, Lisa.
I'm not in this.
You are now. By just talking, you are in it.
I'm feeding the baby.
Yeah, and also Sam, our child, is here. They're both going to help me out, and we're going to finish the show off together, aren't we?
We're both going to run away in a minute.
You're not going to run away.
We are.
You're not, because you're feeding him porridge. Anyway, so one of the things which we did on the show was we play Ultimo Geek, and we lost that particular edition of it. So I thought, since I actually spent flipping ages researching the questions, I'm still going to do it, but I'm going to do it for you folks at home. In the actual game, Andy won. In fact, Andy destroyed Rob in the game. Andy didn't know any of the answers. Just by sheer chance did he manage to beat Rob at every single turn. So this is going to be the exact same quiz. Let's see how you get along at home. So the first question, and if you want to, you've heard this already, Lisa, so you might know.
I don't know. It's gone in one ear out the other.
Well, we'll see. We can try. But you don't have to, but we'll just see. I know how angry you get when I force quizzes on you. Right, question number 1. Play along at home, because you're the only people playing this time. What is the other title of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? Is it 1, Adam Reborn? 2, The Modern Prometheus? 3, The Second Birth? Or 4, Lazarus Retold? Lisa, would you like to hazard a guess?
A.
There is no A, it's 1, 2, 3 or 4.
1.
So Adam Reborn, The Modern Prometheus, The Second Birth or Lazarus Retold? Which one do you want to go with?
4.
Unfortunately, you're wrong. It's The Modern Prometheus. Next question. Who directed Superman? This is the 1978 original version. Was it 1, John Hughes, 2, Ivan Reitman, 3, Richard Donner, or 4, Randall Kleiser? What are you going to go with, please?
3.
3, you're going with Richard Donner. And you are correct.
Yay!
1 point to you. How are you doing at home? Next one. In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, what powers the ship the Heart of Gold? Is it 1, the Eye of Harmony? 2, Bistro Mathematics? 3, the Infinite Improbability Drive? Or 4, Vogon Poetry? So quickly get them again. Number 1, the Eye of Harmony. 2, Bistro Mathematics. 3, the Infinite Improbability Drive? Or 4, Vogon Poetry? Would you like to hazard a guess at one of those?
I wasn't listening, so I'm just going to go with 2.
And the answer was 3.
Shams.
The thing is, though, since you are just guessing, you are playing it how Andy plays the game, so you have got a pretty good chance of winning. Who played the 5th incarnation of the Doctor? Was it 1, Tom Baker, 2, Peter Davison, 3, Colin Baker, or 4, old Sylvester McCoy? So who was the 5th incarnation of the Doctor? Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, or Sylvester McCoy? Sam, do you want to have a guess? And what are you saying, Sam?
What are you saying?
Did he just say Peter Davison?
Did you?
You are truly your daddy's boy. It was Peter Davison. How many different broadcast Star Trek series have there been? They have to have been broadcast. Just being planned does not count. Is it 1, 7, 2, 6, 3, 5, or 4, 4? It's quite confusing, the numbering system I've used there. So what do you reckon, Lise?
Number 2.
So you would say 6?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You'd be correct.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we count them off, since I know you're a big fan? You've got Star Trek, the original series. You've also got Star Trek, the animated series, which was based on the original series. You've got The Next Generation. You've got Deep Space Nine. You've got Voyager. And you've also got Enterprise, which is 6 different shows. Well done, you're doing pretty well on this, Lise.
Oh, yeah.
Which of the following films was not based on a book? Is it 1, The Running Man, 2, Dune, 3, Planet of the Apes, or 4, Krull? Which one do you want to go for there, Lise? So, Running Man, Dune, Planet of the Apes, Krull.
Number 4.
So you're going for 4, Krull. You're correct. Well done.
I was really good at this, aren't I?
Who wrote the sci-fi classic Brave New World? Is it 1, Ray Bradbury, 2, Aldous Huxley, 3, Isaac Asimov, or 4, Kurt Vonnegut? So that was who wrote Brave New World. Bradbury, Huxley, Asimov, Vonnegut.
What do you think, Sam?
What's he saying?
What are you listening?
Bear in mind, he's only 5 months old. So which one do you want to go for? Bradbury, Huxley, Asimov, Vonnegut.
I think he said number 2.
Aldous Huxley.
Yeah.
Well done, Sam. For a 5-month-old, he's particularly well read.
Yeah.
Which duo created the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles? And we've seen one of these when we went to a Comic-Con. In fact, London MCM Comic-Con. So, is it 1, Westman and Schuster, 2, Eastman and Laird, 3, North and Vigart, or 4, Lee and Ditko? Which one? And there's no help on this one. We've seen one of these. We've heard him talk.
1.
You've just put the baby upside down.
No, I haven't.
But he is.
I'm laying him down.
In a very strange way. It was Eastman and Laird. We've seen Eastman. Kevin Eastman. He was at the...
Remember?
Oh. We got those little bandanas that we wore. We got photos, didn't
I
we?
don't remember the people.
Oh. Next question. John Wyndham's Midwich Cuckoos was adapted into what film? Is it 1, Village of the Damned, 2, The Day of the Damned, 3, The Beautiful and the Damned, or 4, Queen of the Damned? Which one are you going to go with?
1.
You're going with Village of the Damned. And you are quite correct.
Oh, yeah. I did that one on my own.
I know you did. Don't say that out loud because it makes it clear to the audience that we've just been cheating and me giving you hand signals.
We haven't been cheating.
No, we haven't. Where would you find Dr. Theophilus? This is the last question. Would you find him in Flash Gordon, Battlestar Galactica, Alien, or Buck Rogers? So that's number 1, Flash Gordon, number 2, Battlestar Galactica, number 3, Alien, or number 4, Buck Rogers. What are you going to go with?
4.
Yeah, you did, I know, well done. But that's Buck Rogers, it's true, he would be hanging from Tweaky's neck. And that was Ultimo Geek. I know, not as good as normal, because obviously I lost the recording of Andy and Rob arguing like 2 little children about it. Andy did win. How did you fare at home? The next feature that we did is Comic Book of the Week. And it's a real shame, because this is an absolute cracker of a comic book. It's an anthology. So I'm going to have to talk about this all on my own, some. And hopefully I can do it the justice it deserves. The comic book is by Dirty Rotten Comics, and if you want to find out more about them, you can go to dirtyrottencomics.co.uk. You got something to say about it, Sam? No? So it's Dirty Rotten Comics, all one word, .co.uk, or you can even go on Twitter and follow them at Dirty Rotten Comics, with comics spelled C-O-M-X. Or you could email them if you really want to at info@dirtyrottencomics.co.uk, and they've put together an anthology, and this is their 5th issue of Dirty Rotten Comics for summer 2015, and it's edited by Gary Clapp and Kurt Campbell. And what they do is it's a black and white, all the pictures inside are the pages, comic which features a number of different artists' small comic strips. Some are funny, some are a bit more serious, some are drawn, very detailed. Some of them are less well drawn. When you read the little blurb about this from Clapp and Campbell, they talk about the fact that the actual illustration, while obviously we all love drawings in a comic book, the actual illustration is not as important to them as the ability to tell an interesting story. However, that doesn't mean this doesn't have some really nice artwork in it. And I'm going to pick out, and there's a lot of them in this, so I can't really go through them all because we'd be here for flipping ever. I'm going to pick out a few that I really liked and just give you the name of the artist. One of the first ones in it, if it is the first one, is called Hush, and it's by Sam. Do you mind not making baby noises? It's very off-putting.
What is that mean?
Yeah? Can you do that for me?
Naughty
Zip it?
boy.
Or I'll make Mum put you in a burlap sack and we'll beat you outside again. You didn't like that, did you? So Hush, and this is by a chap called David Ziggy Green, who's got his website is samu.co.uk, and it's the story of this guy who's up late at night and his wife's gone to bed, and he finishes watching this film. No, he's playing on a computer game. Tell a lie. And he finishes it, and he's getting ready to go to bed, and he keeps knocking things over, and he falls over on things and smashes the hole downstairs. All the while he's doing this, he is trying not to wake his wife. And it's really well told, the kind of visual storytelling, and it's very, very good. Gets upstairs into bed with her, and then breaks wind, and she wakes up and has a go at him. Very simple idea, but well done. I love the drawing style. Sam loves it as well, even though he's starting to cry. So that's one of the really good ones that I really liked. The other ones that really stood out to me that I particularly liked there's one called Punch and Judy Presents, and it's by David Thomas and Rosa Devine, and you can find them at rosadevine.com. Just hang on a minute, listeners. There's a small child over here who seems intent on interrupting the podcast. Come over here then, Sammy. There we go. You come over and you can look at the screen with Daddy. There we go. So this Punch and Judy one is really interesting because it's a Punch and Judy show going on, and through the Punch and Judy show, the characters talk about basically the real world and how things are wrong. The fact that bankers can make all this money.
Wonder where the baby's gone.
Oh yeah, he's not gone missing. I brought him over here. He wanted to get closer to record. So they talk about banking, they talk about money, they talk about how governments operate, how big businesses do, all through this Punch and Judy show that these kids are watching. It's only just arrived and now you're taking him away. Evil lady. Very well done and very thought-provoking as well, some of the things they say in it. So that's well worth a look. And then one of the other ones, which I think was really good, but by no means the only good ones, there's some really nice stuff in there, is The Pursuit of Happiness, A Space Odyssey, and it's by Sarah Crosby. And you can find out more about her at sarahcrosbyillustration.co.uk. And it's a story of a man who's trapped in this kind of boring 9-to-5 existence, office job, in this little cubicle. He decides to build a spaceship with his cat. They go into space and they arrive at a planet full of cats, and things don't really go the way he wanted. It's really nicely drawn, got a nice style to it, and the story is really funny and interesting. So they're three of the ones which I'd pick out from it, but there's an absolute bunch of different stuff on there. And like I said, it isn't all amazingly drawn. Some of it is very, very good. Some of it's just okay, which I know when we recorded the original review of this, Rob was saying about, well, I like my comics all to be, all the drawing to be spot on in them. And there's an argument to be had there, but that is the nature of an anthology comic, in that you're going to see lots of different work, and not everyone likes the same stuff. So that's why I like them. It's a chance to see lots of up-and-coming new artists that you've probably never seen before. Read some short stories, which are all very, very different, and it's just nice. It's like a tasting platter. That's how I think of it. When you go to where did we go to the other week? That lovely tasting platter, the Mailbox in Lincoln. It's like that. I don't like the breaded mushrooms. You love them, don't you, Lise?
I like them.
But you don't love them.
I like them.
Oh, you like them. Well, like this. I liked all of this, but there's things you like more than others. For example, the cheesy garlic bread. That was nice, wasn't it? But what about the chicken wing? You didn't like them, did you?
I just prefer buffalo chicken wings.
Well, I don't like potato wedges, but there's something they do to their potato wedges. Yeah, they were good. I have a big thing about potato wedges in that sometimes you go to pubs and things, and it'll say on the menu, like your burger and chips, and it'll say, for £1 extra, upgrade your chips to potato wedges. Unless you're on about the mailbox in Lincoln, potato wedges are not an upgrade, are they? No, they're a down. I don't get that. I hate it. I've been to places before and they've gone, oh, just for the night, we're going to make things better for you. Like they've had a buffet or something. We're going to give you potato wedges instead of chips. And I always think, you swines. That's going off the point a little bit. Really, really good book. Well worth a look at if you want to see some new up-and-coming people and see lots of different things. So I'm going to give that a big thumbs up from Empire Geek. So the name of that, again, is Dirty Rotten Comics, and that's their 5th anthology. If I was going to say what I'd like to see different improvements, and obviously this is all down to money, really, but it'd be good to see some done in colour. That'd be really interesting if they gave people the chance to do that. But obviously that's going to cost them a lot more when they print it. But yeah, well worth a read, Dirty Rotten Comics. So that was our comic of the week. And finally, Comic-Con of the week. Actually, we did this Comic-Con last week, and it's Lincoln Comic-Con, and we talked about it was going to be at the... Well,
It was meant to be at the Bentley Hotel, but they moved it to the showroom.
yeah, the showroom, which is on Tritton Road, if you know Lincoln. If you don't, look at Tritton Road. Because there's been so much interest in it. So that is Lincoln Comic-Con, and when is that?
I think it's the 20th, which should be a Sunday. I just look.
So that's Sunday the 20th of September, so it's coming up, but it's moved to the showroom now. And we're going to it, aren't we? Is Sam going?
Yes.
Are we going to dress him up?
He's got a little Batman onesie thing you can wear.
What am I going to dress up as?
Okay, you can be Robin.
Do I get a Robin onesie?
Yeah.
Do I have one of those little patches at the back that opens up, unbuttons, and you can see my arse?
Yes, just like that.
That'd be disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll do it though.
okay. I know you will.
That would get us some more interest in the podcast, wouldn't it?
Showing your arse off.
Just being arrested. Especially if, you know, they find me with a child walking around, it'd be like, what a weirdo. Yeah, so that was the show, and that was some of the stuff you missed out. I'm going to have to try and get a decent recorder. I can't keep using my phone, can I?
No, well, your birthday's coming up. You want that?
Oh, yeah, birthday's coming up, listeners. We have a special show. I don't know how we'll make it special.
I don't know.
But anyway, that is goodbye from me. Sam, he's twisting himself back kind of demon style to stare me in the eye. What do you want? So it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Sam. Lisa.
Goodbye.
You did good joining in then, did you know? See you all.
That was ghastly.